This video is sponsored by Bald Mountain Woodworks. Aloha friends, welcome back to Dynamodel. On today's menu we're serving up bear. Not that big scary grizzly bear. And not that guy that doesn't care about the bear. But it is a Beargguy. This adorable little guy is Bandai's Beargguy Ohana Aloharo set, also known as the Beargguy Type F or Beargguy number 9. I'm giving this little guy to a family member too. This one's for the kid's mom. I realized as I was editing the Dynamiz that she might feel left out, and I wanted to give her something sparkly. He's also getting a candy paint job, but I'll get to that towards the end of the video. This is actually a good sized kit for me in a high grade. In fact, the box is the size of the Zaku 2.0. It has 15 runners overall, 3 of them being poly parts. There's no inner frame to speak of. The inner frame is actually incorporated into the armor in the way that there's a lot of empty space, and the few movable joints just basically attach to the armor pieces. Something I'm not used to, as I like to actually stick to master grade kits. The best comparison I have for this would be the master grade gun cannon. It's basically an oversized high grade. Maybe someday Bandai will revamp this, but I'm getting off track. Let's get back to this bear. The instructions are actually really nice. They come with the first couple pages in color, and they're also translated. This is something you don't see with a lot of kits, but I think this is because this is in ages 8 and up. My only complaint is they unfold like a newspaper, and I like my instructions in book format. It keeps my desk a little cleaner. So I'll jump right into this, and we're also going to speed things up a little bit or we're never going to get through this. I actually had about 5 hours of footage on this build. One of the neat side effects of sharing these videos with you guys is I actually learn how long it takes to build one of these. Now mind you, that's 5 hours for me. If you're a speed builder, you could probably get through this kit in about an hour or two. It's not very complicated and there really isn't that many runners. But I'm really not in a hurry as I do this. I like to savor my builds. You might say I'm a little bit meticulous. Separating my gates is actually a 3-step process. I use some old nippers that I have and remove the parts off the runners. Then I go back with my godhand nippers and I trim the gates off the parts. I have a little technique where I keep the blunt side firmly up against the part and I slightly roll my wrist to slice through the gate. I'm doing this a lot with this Beargguy kit because there's a lot of rounded parts. After that I hit it with a glass file. I really like DSBA's glass files. They do the job well and they're relatively affordable, but truth be told, you can get any glass file at your local department store or grocery store in the nail section. The main thing to remember with these glass files is that they're directional. If you go the wrong way, you're just gonna gum up the file. It's a good idea to keep them clean as you go too. If they build up too much dust, you're just melting the plastic at that point. I use a little toothbrush to get the dust out of mine. You also want to be really careful with the single blade nippers. I did get in a little bit of a hurry with this kit. I accidentally put a little slice in one of the ribbon parts. These parts were soft enough I was able to put a good amount of plastic magic on and let it sit there until it softened a little, kind of press it back together. Again, I hit it with the glass file after that, and I actually kind of buffed the part out with an old worn out piece of 1500 grit sanding pad. Like I said, I got in a bit of a hurry with this, I guess because I was recording and I wasn't paying attention. I also skipped a poly part in the neck. This is where I'm glad I had my parts separated. This one was stuck together pretty well once it was joined together. Strange how applying the poly part makes the neck stay on the bear a lot better. I put the armor to the legs on backwards too. It was a minor setback, but again, just a little reminder to pay attention. This might have been a big problem had I painted this already. We'll get to that part a little bit later in the build. And I guess these are my build tips for this video if you're new to the hobby or new for the channel. You might save yourself a little bit of time by slowing down and paying attention. And you don't have to have the world's best tools, but having decent ones will also save you a little bit of time. And I guess these are just good tips, whether we're talking about your life or your hobbies. And since we are talking about hobbies, I have another one I haven't shared with you guys yet. It's not unusual that I'm doing late night edits, and I find myself in the kitchen at 2 a.m. making a nice bowl of ramen. And I've been thinking to myself, maybe I should be sharing this hobby with you guys too. I don't know if you'd be interested in my ramen recipe. Anyway, before we get back to the final poses of the bear and what I plan on doing with paint, and there might be a little diorama in the works for this one too. I hope you guys don't mind this brief effort for me to support the channel and allow me to keep making content for you guys. If you use the link down below, you get 10% off any order, and I get a small commission, and that really helps the channel out. So I hope you don't mind the brief segue and you stay with the video to the end. Before we get back to the build, I want to show you my cutting board from Bald Mountain Woodworks. I'm sharing it with you guys because I genuinely love this thing. It's real premium hardwood, not plastic, and every cutting board is handcrafted in New Hampshire, finished with 100% pure tung oil. That's FDA approved and completely food safe. It's tough enough for real kitchen work, but honestly it looks like art, the kind of piece that looks great sitting against any backsplash. If you're in the New Hampshire area, they also build custom cabinets, inlaid signs, tables, and even Captain American shields. Use my link down below and you'll get 10% off any order. Let's get back to the Gunpla. I'd like to thank you if you watched that. That was actually my first ad read for the channel. I put a lot of effort into it. I don't know if you caught it or not, but there was a pico de gallo recipe in that one. You want to kick it up a notch, add fresh serranos or jalapeno peppers. I'm kind of serious when I say I'm kicking around the idea of a cooking channel. Yeah, so let me know in the comments if a cooking channel is something you guys would want to see. I still have to get control of this one and get on a regular content schedule, but I'm kicking around the idea. I also want to take this time to say thank you to my friend Anthony for letting me use his kitchen as a backdrop. On that note, I guess we'll really get back to the bear. We still have the petite bear and the haro to build. I think for the sake of getting to the beauty shots, I'm going to go ahead and maybe overlay this. Speed it up a lot, so you guys enjoy the music. Well, thanks for bearing with me as I got through the build of Bandai's high-grade Ohana bear set. I can barely wait to paint this thing. It'll be getting a candy coat in the original colors, with hopefully a UV-activated twist if everything works out right. I actually chose to build this kit because I wanted to level up my painting skills. There's a lot of broad surfaces, and I figured this was a good one to practice on. You might notice I left the plastic bear and didn't put stickers on. I wanted to save these for after we did get the paint job done. At the bare minimum, this will be a 3-part series, next video being the paint, after that the diorama, and maybe some LEDs. Since he's just bare plastic still, I was able to take the time to put him in all the various poses on the box art. I hope you guys kind of enjoy that. Normally I wouldn't do this, as I don't like to fiddle with the kits once they're painted. And if you'll bear with me one more time, I'd like to take this opportunity to give a shout out to a fellow YouTuber, Beetlehorn. He also has a model building channel. He gets into some interesting topics. You should really check him out. He mentioned he might build a Beargguy 3. If so, I highly recommend it. In fact, I'd recommend the high-grade Beargguy to anybody. The only bugbear about this kit that I have is most of the poly parts aren't really strong enough to bear the weight of most of the joints, nor do they bear the weight of the head. It's also pretty bare bones in the sense that it doesn't come with any weapons. And if you don't paint your kits and you leave the hand-holding part bare, it's going to be green instead of blue. But for 5 hours of build time at barely $30, I definitely give it a thumbs up. You might see an adorable bear. I see a bare canvas waiting to be painted. So like and subscribe so you don't miss that video. I'll be starting a live stream soon. We'll probably start building the Dominator. It's a big kit. You'll have to bear with me, I'm working with bare necessities. Shout out again to Bald Mountain Woodworks for sponsoring this video. Click that link down below to get 10% off any work they do for you, whether it be a sign or you're getting a kitchen. I'm just barely getting this channel off the ground, so I really want to thank them for the opportunity. On that note, this video's taken me a while to edit. I'm gonna go stand barefoot in some grass.